Very clear. And the job of Cardinal Levada, together with the Ecclesiastical Commission, is to also take care of us. Now, why should we entrust ourselves, entrust our situation to this type of people? Why do we go with these people in the first place? Then, the next congregation we need to study is the congregation for the nomination of bishops. The congregation for bishops. Because it's at the hand of the local bishops that the souls go to hell on a local level. Souls here in Korea, they go to hell because, for instance, they die in their mortal sin. They die in their mortal sin because they didn't go to confession and communion. Why didn't they go to confession and communion? Because their priest didn't tell them that they have to go to confession regularly. They have to stay away from sin. They didn't preach on hell. They didn't preach on the salvation of the souls, on the last 5 things. They didn't preach on the necessity of prayer. That's because of the local parish priest. But the local parish priest is put in his parish, is empowered by the local bishop. And that's why it's one of the most crucial sins of the New Rome, is to organize the nomination of bad bishops everywhere in the world. You're going to have maybe more conservative bishops than the others, but they are all novus ordo. And everywhere in the world you have this massacre of souls. This massacre of souls which takes place at every local level because of the local bishops. And because of these local bishops are there because of the congregation for bishops. Because bishops in normal times are nominated by the Holy Father. That's why Archbishop consecrated bishops without the Vatican's permission. Because he realized that the Vatican does not want to give one single traditional bishop to the world. Not one single. Not even a bishop taken from the ranks of the Fraternity of St. Peter. Or the Institute of Christ the King. Not a single one. Then you may say, but there is a Bishop Rifan in Campos, but not even there. Because the official Bishop of Campos is not Bishop Rifan. It is a novus ordo bishop of Campos put in place there by the Vatican. Bishop Rifan is just in charge of the recycling of the faithful of Campos. But he is not the official bishop of Campos. Rome doesn't want a single traditional bishop in the world. And this is happening day by day. That is, each time in the Osservatore Romano, you got at the end, at the back pages, you got the nominations. Which bishop is put in charge where? Day by day, and there is no chance, no change, day by day. So you can update yourself about what's going on in Rome. Are they traditional or are they not traditional? You just need to see the last issue of the Osservatore Romano and you know who Rome appoints. Because to govern is to delegate. If you delegate modernist, you are a modernist. That's obvious. It's like your prime minister, he's going to appoint all the departments of the states. Because he rules this country. He was voted in. Well, same thing in here with the Pope. So I am not going to believe in the return of Rome until I see a change in the nomination of bishops. At least a few. But not even one is granted. Not even one in order to make it look traditional. Not even one. Not even one who is not really traditional but looks very, very traditional and has been appointed by the system. No, not even that. They are not taking any chance. The devil wants all the souls to go to hell at the hands of the local bishop. So we don't need to go too far. I'm not going to go through all the other discussions, unity of Christians, justice and peace, liturgy and everything. We don't have the time. But I hope you get the idea. It's the same policy for the other congregations, all the other organs of government in Rome. It's the same policy. I will just mention one last one, the Smoli, the Ecclesiastical congregation. The Ecclesiastical congregation is in one arm of the Pope. So that arm is strangling as we speak. They are strangling. They are requesting the Institute of Good Shepherd, an institute that joined the New Rome 7 years ago. They are requesting them to teach Vatican II in their seminaries, to teach Vatican II publicly, to say the new Mass sometimes, at least, or once in a year, and to collaborate with the local dioceses, with the local bishops. And Father Laguerre says, but this is not what you promised us 7 years ago. Well, that's too late. You are under us. You need to obey us. If you want to be recognized by us, you have to comply with these conditions. That's why Father Laguerre, called Father de Cacré, says, don't sign. Don't sign with the new Rome. And so, with one arm, they are squeezing, they are killing. You know, a traditional, some order that was trying to stay traditional. And with the other arm, they want to embrace us. This is happening in the same month as we would have signed. You know, hopefully the agreement was thwarted. But this is what's happening. It's not possible. So how are we going to believe that after 6 or 7 years, Rome is not going to bring us the same conditions? And it could be even faster. So some people in America say that the society wants to marry the new Rome and thinks that it is going to keep its virginity. The virginity of its faith. It's a complete illusion. And this leads us to the second thing. What does it entail then to join Rome in these conditions? If Rome is that bad, what does it entail? Because you're talking about the Mercedes, BMW and Porsche of modernism there. The most effective modernism. What does it entail if you join that modernist authority, if you put yourself under Benedict XVI, what does it entail? Of course, Providence has intervened, nothing has been signed, we are still... but we need to know what happens once we agree to be under them. Well, first thing you lose is the confession of the faith. That is, you are not anymore making a stand against the heresies and errors and against the operation of sending souls to hell worldwide at the hand of the new Rome. You are losing the stand of the faith. But the confession of the faith is inseparable from the virtue of faith, especially when the faith is in danger. When the faith is in danger, it's your duty to confess the faith. That's why it's just my duty to warn you, my faithful. It is my duty. If I don't warn you, I am guilty of misleading you. And that's why there is a sacrament for the confession of the faith, a sacrament of confirmation, on the forehead, so that you don't blush for your faith. You stand for the faith. It is your duty to stand for the faith when the faith is in danger. Just like I'm fighting for the faith, you faithful are soldiers of Christ, and you must help me in the fight for the faith as much as you can, according to your abilities and according to the denial of the faith which is facing you. But the confession of the faith is inseparable. That's what St. Paul says, we believe for our justification, that is the cleansing of our hearts, but for our salvation, for ours going to heaven, we have to confess. Because you will not be here, traditional Catholics, 70 of you today, if nobody would have told you there is a Mass here, come join tradition. You are all here because somebody else told you that tradition was alive and well in soul. So you believe for the justification of your heart, but for your getting into heaven, says St. Paul, you have to confess. So if we join, if we put ourselves under Benedict XVI, we lose that confession that he is killing the sheep, that he is wrong, that he is a new Rome. So it's an immense duty. It's our first primary duty. But it's true that Rome wants to put us, Rome doesn't want us to deny the faith at first. They just want to put us in a container, in a containment unit. It's like a nice prison with AC, internet, DVDs, good food, anything you order, delivery with nice furniture, nice ceiling, nice, everything is nice, tennis courts, everything. But it's a prison. You cannot tie the Catholic faith. You cannot put it in a container. No way. That's what St. Paul says, woe to me if I don't evangelize. And this leads, this loss of the confession of the faith is also the loss of our hope. What do we hope for? What are we praying for? Are we praying for a grey Pope? Because it's not black anymore, it's grey, so hallelujah, everything is great? No. We are praying that Rome converts. stopped being the seat of the Antichrist. We are praying that Rome really becomes pure white. That's the only thing that is going to rescue the church. Otherwise, our hope is very limited. If you are happy with the modernist Pope, what kind of hope is that? And the Apocalypse is full of the mention of the false hopes, the deception of the devil. That, you know, like the city of Sardis, which is taken from the rear, or, you know, the pale horse of the Apocalypse. And the pale horse of the Apocalypse comes after the heresy, which is black. Heresy leads to persecution, which is red. And then the pale horse, since persecution makes more Christians than less, it becomes the diluting of truth and error. That's a pale horse, that's liberalism. That horse, which is pale, neither black nor white, has a rider. That rider's name is Death. That is, a pope which is neither black or white is more deathly than the pope would be outrightly and openly mistaken. That Paul VI is much less dangerous than Benedict XVI, because Paul VI, you know, you see it on his face that he's no sword. It's written on his face. He can't hide it. Whereas Benedict XVI is much more dangerous. The rider of this horse, mark my word, the name of the rider of this horse is Death. That's why Benedict XVI, as of now, even though he is the Catholic Pope, is validly and legitimately in charge of the visible church, Benedict XVI is Death, because he looks so much alike the pale horse of the Apocalypse. And the locusts of the Apocalypse, they have the appearance of charity, says St. John. Read the Apocalypse, chapter 9, verse 7. They have the appearance of being nice, of being charitable. So don't expect Our Lady to make half of a job. She will grant us a good Pope. It's in the prophecy of St. Malachi as well. But don't expect her to do half a good job. She doesn't do half a job. If she meets the serpent, she crushes the head of the serpent entirely. She doesn't turn the serpent into a better serpent. That's what Eve was trying to do. And we know the result. And then charity, in the second sense of today, an agreement with the New Rome is a denial of the mission of the Sspx. The mission of the Sspx is to rescue the souls from the clutches of the monster. Is to keep our faithful out of the range of the leash of the dog. As Padre Pio said, if you are out of the range of the leash of the dog, you're fine. It's an operation rescue. Our goal is to rescue you from the Novus Ordo. It's not our mission to bring you back to the official church before it's time. It's like a fireman rescues people from buildings on fire, carries people out, the building is still burning, and I'm bringing you back in because the flames have subsided a little bit. Yeah, but the building is still burning. No, it's burning less. Allow me to bring you back to the building. It might collapse on you, but allow me to bring you back to the building. That's the same comparison. There is a mission of the society given by the founder. And before he dies, he tells us, you wait until it's safe to cross. And also the problem is that there are many priests in the society that don't agree with this, all of a sudden, May 2012, 180-degree turn. We don't agree with it. So if you proceed without our agreement, then you're going to tear us, because we are not going there. I am not going to the New Rome as of now. I refuse. And so as a consequence, you're going to be obliged to order my superior, Father Onoda, to bar me from preaching or spreading my ideas. You might go even further, expel me from the society. And then call the police to throw me across the street of Cannon Road in Manila. It might go as far, that far. Because once we have lost our unity in the position of the faith, then we tear ourselves. And we're going to look like sects. We're going to make the lawyers very rich in determining, this chapel, which one is which. The lawyers are going to have the time of their lives. It's going to be a disaster. And with this infighting within us, then the newcomers will be prevented from joining us. And many of our faithful will leave us. And also you will join the new Rome, but without anti-liberal elements. So you join the new Rome in a state of a great weakness. And so it's a disaster. What's going to happen to the little ones? And how could you have said we cannot rule out a split? The job of a leader is to rule out a split, to prevent a split. Because the common good of an organization is its unity. So you prevent the split. And the only thing that gathers us in a society of St. Pius X is the truth and nothing else. And isn't the split within us what the new Rome is always looking for? Aren't the Sspx-Fr.Chazal'S rejoicing today at seeing us, tearing us to pieces? So suicide is a sin against charity. You have no right to split us. And if there is a problem in the congregation, you must address the splitting problem in the general chapter and solve it, so that the society endures in the future. And it's also a sin against the virtue of prudence. So we saw faith, hope, charity, and then it's a sin against prudence. Because Archbishop Lefebvre never trusted the new Rome. Even when he was in negotiation with the new Rome, he never trusted them. He was negotiating them in order to please his entourage, which was, very dovish at the time. Now it's the other way around. But he did. And then he talked to them, and he realized that they are very good, that they almost deceived him. And he admitted that he made a mistake talking to them, and that they almost fooled him. So who do we think we are? Do we think we are smarter than Archbishop Lefebvre? Who do we think we are? We are not smarter than him. He has a lot of experience. He knew the church backwards and forwards. He knew the whole creeping of the ideas to destroy, to self-demolish the church. Are we smarter than the Archbishop Lefebvre, who told us to wait for clear sign and told us to wait a long time before he died? Why is Archbishop Lefebvre so clear-sighted? Because there is grace of God, but also there is his intellectual work. His intellectual work was a study of the revolution. Crétino, Joly, Barbier, the others, Donoso Cortés, all the other authors. He studied them. And then when you study a revolution, you see a revolution happens in stages. It always starts with terror, with massacring, with destruction and everything. But like in the Russian Revolution, there is a new economic policy, the NEP of Lenin, very few years after the start of the Russian Revolution. Every revolution mellows in time, because terror doesn't work anymore. So they have to use something else. It's the Gramsci way. It's, in France, we call it the Thermidorian phase. Well, Thermidor comes after the terror. The reign of terror is ended by Thermidor, with the Directoire. And there, it's, the revolution mellows, becomes nice. And then it begs people that it's not going to kill anyone anymore, but simply wants people to agree with the system, or with the ideas. And then it gets the fighters of Vendée sign the Treaty of La Genée, and they drop their weapons. And only a few, Charette, understand that this is a trap, this is a trick. But once the treaty is signed, then they can kill Charette, isolate him, and kill him. The fight would resume afterwards, but that's the idea. Because they need pontoons. Pontoons, niceness, a new atmosphere, a new form of trust. That's what revolution needs. That's how revolution works. Goes one step backwards and two steps forwards. That's how it pushes year after year. Makes some concessions. That's why in a liberal democracy you have the conservatives and the liberals. Do you think the conservatives have been successful in keeping us with the same laws as 50 years ago? No way. You got abortion, you got all the laws everywhere in the world. Conservatism has never helped. The step backward never helped. It's a trick, my dear faithful. So we have to watch. Watchman, what of the night? Says the book of Proverbs. Is that light within the night that's coming, is that really the light of the day? Or is that some other light? You know, the light of soul on the horizon. Is that the real light or a fake light? Watchman, tell me of the night. Which night is it? Is it still night or night is starting to be over? And it's an agonizing question because, you know, there may be some amongst us that believe that the night is beginning to be over and they want to lay down their weapons against the new world. And the number of these will determine the gravity of the split that might happen in the society of St. Pius X. And it's a sin against the virtue of justice. But they say, but Rome is making up for the injustice done to us, poor traditional excommunicated faithful. Well, this is not to repair our injustice that we joined by the new Rome. What we want is to repair the injustice done to the church, not to ourselves. The church, our mother, is being abused by the Holy Father in matters of faith. Because our father is drunk with modernism. And we don't accept our father to mistreat our mother. So we have to stand against the father who abuses the mother. We have to. Then the father casts us out. Then after a few days he says, come back in, but keep quiet now, don't bother me. That's what Rome is asking us. We reinstate you back in, but keep quiet. That's not, the son must not return to the house. Because he still maintains the same stand. Do not abuse my mother. And it's a sin against fortitude. Because what they give us excommunications, and do we fear all that much their excommunications, when they don't believe in a notion of excommunication. They don't believe in hell. Or if there's a hell, it's empty. Or if there's only one person in hell, it's Bishop Williamson. So they don't believe in hell. So they give us the paper of excommunication, but that paper leads you nowhere. Normally, an excommunication is a ticket to hell. That's why it's frightening. But the one who gives the ticket to hell does not believe hell exists. What kind of excommunication is that? I put it in a nutshell. But it's a fact that those threats of the new Rome are threats for rabbits, but not for us. And I'm not sure the rabbits are scared. So, and it's also a sin against temperance, because we ignore that one of the acts of temperance is to reject flattery. When we came to Rome, they give us all these palaces, high ceiling, beautiful decoration. They let us stay in palace. You know, our theologians stayed in the propaganda, in the Holy Office, just behind St. Peter's Basilica, and they slept there, I think. They allow us to say Mass everywhere in the Vatican and everything. They give us wonderful meals. They tell us how much we are necessary, we are useful to them, to help them, how great we are. No, in 2000, when we had the pilgrimage in Rome, they told us, how great you are, please come to us. They flatter us, but it's the act, the virtue of temperance, to reject flattery. So it's not, you know, we have to reject this flattery of theirs. Otherwise it's a sin against temperance, that represses pride. The pride of us, you know, which may be that we think ourselves today, 2012, as the great instruments of the resurrection of the church. No, we are not. We are not as yet. As yet, all we do now, we keep the faith. Maybe we will be called the great instruments of the resurrection of the faith of the church when the church actually resurrects. Maybe then. But as of now, all you got to do, my dear faithful, is to keep the faith and keep the stand of the faith. So, as much as I enjoy that power in my priestly office, I curse the very idea of going back to the new Rome. It is absolutely cursed because it leads to death in 7 different ways. But in 7 dominoes. The first domino is the domino of the faith. If you tilt that domino of the faith, all the other virtues eventually fall down. Faith is not the highest virtue. Charity is supreme, yes. But charity would not exist without the faith. The mother of charity is the faith. Do not touch the faith. If you press the button of the faith on me, you are pressing the wrong button. Because it is the office of the priesthood to defend the faith. The highest obedience is to the faith, because faith itself is an obedience of the intellect to the truth that comes from God. Faith is an obedience. You cannot put faith versus obedience, because faith is the first and foremost obedience. That's the first thing that our Lord is asking us. In the Gospel we see that. And of course the law is charity and obedience. But in normal times, if authority has a faith, then you obey authority, like a corpse, yes. But if you touch the faith, you are pressing the wrong button. And then, third part, and lastly, what is going on today now in the society? Now we had this situation coming for 12 years. We could sense it was coming for 12 years, some gradual mellowing. But we had to give the benefit of the doubt to our superiors. So, for the moment, the treason is averted. Bishop Fr.Chazal'S hasn't signed anything. So he remains our beloved and respected Superior General. He has not signed. As long as he doesn't sign, we are still one visibly around him. Alright? His ideas are maybe confused now, but he hasn't signed. So we are still one family with the possibility of rescuing itself from this split. But that family has to get the problem on the table at the next general chapter. Now we hear many things on the general chapter now. They say it's administrative. It was planned to be administrative because in normal times your